What if, just for a moment, you close your eyes and imagine something most people fear to imagine? Imagine a doctor walking into your room tomorrow morning holding a report. He looks you in the eyes, no sound in the room, no movement, just stillness. Then his lips move, and he says 4 words that shatter your world. You will die tomorrow. In that instant, time would freeze. Your mind would race. But here's the real question. Would you smile, or would you drown in regret? Death is not the end. It is the final mirror that reflects the life you truly lived. Most people think death is an event, a sudden ending, a dark tunnel. But death is more like a mirror, a reflection. It doesn't show you how you died. It shows you how you lived. It holds up a mirror to every decision you made, every dream you ignored, every word you spoke and didn't speak, every moment you wasted. The truth is, death only becomes terrifying when life was never truly lived. You see, if you meet death with peace, it means you met life with purpose. But here's the tragedy. We live like we have time. We scroll like we have forever. We argue like we'll get another chance. We wait as if the clock isn't ticking. People don't fear death because it's mysterious. They fear it because it exposes the truth they've been hiding from themselves. The truth that they settled, that they waited, that they played it safe, that they avoided risk, rejected their calling, and silenced their fire. Imagine standing in front of your own mirror tomorrow, knowing this is it. No more rehearsals. No more someday. It's done. Would you smile at the life you built, or would you beg for one more hour, not to make more money, not to buy a bigger house, but to finally do what you should have done when you had the chance? One more chance to forgive, one more chance to speak your truth, one more chance to chase the dream you buried under excuses. Let's be brutally honest, most people don't live. They exist. They wake up, go to work, eat, scroll, sleep, repeat. But deep inside, their soul is screaming for meaning, screaming to break free, screaming because it knows this isn't what you came here to do. You weren't born just to pay bills and die. You were born to light fires in dark places. You were born to break chains. You were born to transform, not to conform. Every day you spend living someone else's idea of success. You're dying your own death in slow motion. Because success isn't about how high you climb, it's about how true you stay to what's burning inside you. You can win the game society made up and still lose your soul. That's the kind of loss death reflects. Not what you gained, but what you missed. Not who clapped, but who you became. And here's the catch. Death doesn't arrive with a schedule. It doesn't knock politely. It doesn't send an alert. It comes like a thief in the night. And when it does, it brings with it one question only. Did you live fully, or did you waste it all waiting for the right time? You don't get to explain. You don't get to justify. You don't get to blame anyone. The mirror just shows you and only you. But if right now your heart is beating, if your lungs are breathing, if you still have a chance to move your feet, speak your truth, change your path, then you still have time to rewrite what that mirror will one day reflect. Every moment wasted in fear or doubt is a theft from your destiny. Doubt doesn't just hold you back, it robs you. It steals opportunities, ideas, possibilities. Fear doesn't just keep you safe, it cages you. Every time you tell yourself, I'm not ready, you surrender your power. Every time you say, what if I fail, you feed the lie that comfort is safer than courage. But let me tell you the truth. Fear is a liar, and doubt is a thief. You think playing small protects you, but it imprisons you. You think waiting makes you smarter, but it weakens your will. You're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of the responsibility of success. Because once you rise, there's no more excuses. Once you choose to live fully, you can't hide behind mediocrity anymore. Look around you. How many dreams have died in silence? How many ideas buried in journals never saw the light? How many people around you are walking corpses, alive on the outside, dead on the inside? And yet, you still hesitate? You still wait for someone to approve you? You still think there will be a better time? Every second you delay, the mirror sharpens. Every doubt you feed, the clock ticks louder. Every compromise, every maybe later, every it's not the right time, they pile up like invisible regrets. And one day, when death finally comes to hold up that mirror, those moments will stare right back at you. But imagine if instead you chose today as the turning point. Imagine if you shut down the doubt, kicked fear in the face, and said, no more. No more waiting, no more apologizing for being who I am, no more shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. Imagine if every step you took from this moment on was driven by intent. Imagine how powerful, how free, how fulfilled you'd feel, not because you did everything right, but because you finally lived real. You see, death doesn't care about your resume. It won't ask about your car. It won't review your bank account. It won't praise your followers or your titles. It will only ask one thing. Did you become the person you were created to be? And only your heart will answer. Your purpose was never to survive. It was to blaze, to build, to believe. You were not born to tiptoe through life, avoiding risk, pain, or failure. You were not made to merely make it or fit in. You were not created to repeat the footsteps of others. You were made to leave your own. Inside you is a force, a fire, a blueprint that was never meant to blend with the crowd. But the tragedy is, most people never ignite that fire. They fear the burn, so they settle for warmth. But warmth without fire is comfort without creation. If you were born to blaze, why do you keep dimming your light? Why do you keep hiding your gifts? Why do you keep whispering your truth when you were meant to roar? You see, belief isn't just a mindset, it's a weapon. It slices through limitation. It destroys doubt. It unlocks doors that fear told you were sealed shut. But belief doesn't work unless it's fierce, unless it's loud, unless it's dangerous. A quiet belief gets trampled by a noisy world. You've got to believe in yourself so loud that even your fears start to doubt their own lies. But let's talk about survival, because that's what most people settle for. Surviving the week, surviving the job, surviving another year. They call it realism, but it's really surrender. And let's be real, you don't need another motivational quote. You don't need a new planner or a fresh start on Monday. What you need is to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Before they told you to be realistic, before they taught you to trade your fire for a paycheck, your voice for approval, your dreams for a degree. Your purpose isn't hiding, it's buried under layers of conditioning. Peel them off, one by one. Burn them if you have to, because your mission is to blaze, and survival is not blazing. Playing safe is not building. Staying silent is not believing. Now let's go deeper. The wealth you carry to the grave is not gold, but the legacy you engraved in others. Your money will fade. Your titles will be forgotten. Your trophies will gather dust. But the impact you made, the souls you touched, that's eternal. You've been taught to chase success, to chase status. But the truth is, no one remembers what you had. They remember how you made them feel. No one will stand at your grave and say, he had a nice car. They'll say, he changed my life. Or they'll say nothing at all. You're here to build something far more powerful than a brand. You're here to build a legacy. One that echoes beyond your name. One that breathes life into people you'll never even meet. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. Every action you take, every word you speak, every choice you make, it either builds your legacy or breaks it. You're carving your story right now. The only question is, will it be worth remembering? Too many people chase the illusion of success only to find out they've built a castle on sand. But those who focus on legacy, on lifting others, on living with conviction, on creating something that outlives them, they build on rock, unshakable, immortal. Because when your time comes and that final mirror appears, it won't show your resume, it will show your ripple. Who did you empower? Who did you inspire? Who became more because of your existence? And don't think legacy is only for the rich or famous. Legacy is for the present. It's how you treat the person no one notices. It's the effort you put into your craft even when no one's watching. It's the courage to say, "This is who I am," when everyone expects you to conform. That's where legacy is born, in the moments no one claps for. So if you die tomorrow, what would your ripple be? Would it vanish like smoke, or would it shake the earth? Would people lower their heads in silence because they lost someone who truly lived, or would the world go on as if you were never here? Think about that deeply, not to make you feel small, but to awaken the giant sleeping inside you. You weren't meant to pass through life like a ghost. You were meant to carve, to spark, to shake, to transform. But legacy doesn't wait. It doesn't ask for the perfect time. It asks for sacrifice. It asks for authenticity. It asks for boldness. And it asks now. Procrastination is the silent assassin of your dreams. It doesn't break into your house with a scream. It doesn't announce itself with thunder. No, it whispers. It disguises itself as logic. It tells you, "Not today. Tomorrow will be better." And so you believe it. You push your dream one more day, one more week, one more year into the shadows. And all the while your fire dims. Your calling fades. You lose your edge. It doesn't take failure to destroy a dream. It takes waiting. And make no mistake, every day you wait, something inside you dies. That vision you had, it becomes distant. That idea that once burned in your heart, it cools down. Until one day you no longer recognize the voice inside you because you've ignored it for too long. That's the cost of procrastination. Not just time, but identity. You tell yourself you'll start when it's the right moment. You'll act when the stars align. But listen carefully. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And every later you choose becomes a graveyard for the version of you that could have been. You don't lose your potential in one catastrophic event. You bury it slowly with every delay, every excuse, every fake reason you tell yourself. People think time is infinite because clocks reset. But life doesn't. You don't get to rewind. You don't get to pause. You don't get a second draft. What's lost in hesitation is gone forever. So ask yourself, what masterpiece is stuck in your mind because you've been waiting for the right time to begin? What legacy are you delaying because you think you're not ready? If tomorrow was your last sunrise, would today's actions honor your soul? Pause here. Really let that question sink into your bones, not your mind, your soul. Because that's the part of you that's eternal. Not your ego, not your status, but the voice inside you that's been whispering your truth since the beginning, the one you keep ignoring. Today, this very day, what did you do that honored that voice? Did you speak from your truth, or did you censor yourself to keep others comfortable? Did you walk your path, or did you follow the crowd? Did you move closer to your purpose, or did you scroll past another hour of your life without noticing it disappear? If tomorrow was the end, would your actions today make you proud? Or would you beg for one more shot to live with intention, to say what mattered, to build what mattered, or even to forgive what's been burning inside your heart for far too long? Most people don't realize they're living like they'll live forever. And then one day, the final sunrise comes. The colors explode across the sky one last time. And in that sacred moment, there's no more pretending, no more delay, no more later. Just one truth remains. Either you lived on your terms or you didn't. The soul knows. It always has. It's been watching your every compromise, every dream you shelved, every time you chose approval over passion. And when death comes, it doesn't bring fear. It brings clarity. It asks one final question. Did you honor me? Did you make this life a reflection of who you really are? So before that sunrise comes, ask yourself this. If today was your last page, is this how you wanted the story to end? And now the final truth. Only the man who has conquered himself can smile at death without regret. You've been told to conquer the world, to hustle harder, to outwork, outperform, outshine. But the greatest battle you'll ever fight is with yourself. And until you win that war, nothing else will matter. Because the enemy isn't outside, it's within. It's the voice that says you're not good enough. The fear that paralyzes, the doubt that drowns your dreams, the anger that eats your peace, the habits that steal your power. Self-mastery is not a trend. It's not motivation. It's a war. It's waking up every day and choosing discipline over comfort, truth over illusion, vision over distraction. It's learning to silence the noise around you so you can finally hear the roar within you. The man who conquers himself doesn't need applause. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't beg the world to understand him because he understands himself. He has stood in front of his fears, stripped away his excuses, and faced the darkness within. And when he did, he found light, power, peace. He is not perfect, but he is whole. And that wholeness makes him fearless, because when the day of death finally comes, he doesn't tremble, he doesn't beg, he doesn't run. He smiles, not because he escaped death, but because he defeated life. He used it, every second, every scar, every failure. Every ounce of pain was fuel, and he turned it all into purpose. When you reach that level, death is no longer a thief. It becomes a witness, a silent observer to the legacy of a soul that refused to live small. And so the final question remains: if you die tomorrow, will you regret or will you smile? True success is not in applause, but in alignment with who you were meant to become. You've been trained to chase the noise, the recognition, the likes, the trophies, the applause. But applause is just an echo. It fades. And what remains is you, with yourself. When the noise dies, when the room empties, when the lights go out, what's left? Because that's what matters. You see, success isn't a performance. It's not about impressing the crowd. It's not about becoming someone for the world. It's about becoming yourself, the real you, the bold you, the version of you that existed before fear got involved, before society painted over your truth with layers of shoulds and musts and normal. Success is alignment. When what you do, what you say, and who you are become one single undivided force. Look around. There are people who have everything on the outside but feel hollow inside. They look successful. They sound successful. But inside they're aching because they betrayed themselves to earn approval. They silenced their voice to fit a mold. They wore masks until they forgot their own face. That's not success. That's self-abandonment. You were meant for more than applause. You were meant for impact, for peace, for purpose, and that only comes when you stop chasing what looks good and start building what feels true. You may not get claps for it, you may not get validation for it, but when you lay your head down at night, your soul will rest. That's real success. Alignment is the only wealth that death can't take. So ask yourself, are you becoming who you want to be or who they told you to be? Are you doing what lights you up or what earns you likes? Are you choosing your truth or just playing a role? Because if the applause stopped today, would you still keep going? That answer reveals everything. Now ask yourself the next question, and this one pierces even deeper. You were born rich, not in money, but in potential. Did you spend it wisely? This is the part they never taught you. You didn't come here empty. You were born loaded, with gifts, with fire, with creativity, with dreams too big for small minds. You were born with gold in your spirit and thunder in your voice. But the world is clever. It convinces you to ignore it. It says play it safe, follow the rules, don't stand out, don't be too much, don't be too loud, be practical. And so, one by one, most people spend their potential not on greatness, but on survival. But make no mistake, your potential is your wealth, and every day you spend it, whether you mean to or not. The question is, how are you spending it? Are you investing it into your vision or wasting it on distractions? Are you building something eternal or trading your gold for crumbs of comfort? You weren't born to be average. You weren't made to be silent. You are the result of thousands of years of unbroken power, bloodlines, resilience, and raw creative force, and the fact that you're still breathing means you're not done. But potential is a perishable gift. It expires if you don't use it. The most tragic sight in the world is not death, it's wasted genius, untouched talent, unwritten books, unspoken truth, unlived dreams. If tomorrow you met your creator, and he showed you a version of yourself that you could have become if only you dared more, believed more, sacrificed more, what would you feel? Pride or shame? Would you recognize that version of yourself, or would you weep for who you never allowed yourself to become?